She wore bridal lingerie to someone else's bachelorette party. Let's call her Tessa. This was not a mistake, not a joke, not a costume, but actual bridal lingerie at a weekend meant to celebrate someone else's milestone. And the rest of the weekend went exactly how you think. She choreographed the dance she could play in. She whispered, "That's just sweet," underneath her breath. She stayed behind from the group to redecorate the house and then stood in the spotlight when we walked in like she just saved the day. She trauma dumped over lunch. She performed a shot like she was the one on stage. And when someone else nailed the dance move better than her, she snapped. When the student becomes the teacher, like her spotlight had been stolen even for a second. This wasn't just a moment, it was a pattern. And if you've ever watched someone bend an entire weekend around themselves, you know exactly what I mean. Because this video isn't about her, it's about what's underneath behavior like this. In this video, I'm going to break down why people perform like this and how you can spot it, name it, and stop letting it shape the energy of your life. Why some people need to be the center of every scene and why we keep orbiting them. I didn't just watch this unfold. I let it happen. A weekend of real-time people-pleasing, energy shifting, awkward silences, and unspoken resentment. And what I realized changed how I see attention, confidence, and connection, maybe forever. So if you ever felt overshadowed, drained, or like someone else hijacked the vibe, this video is for you. Because main character syndrome, it's not what you think. And if you're not careful, you might be feeding it too. This isn't about one girl trying too hard. It's about how some people have learned to survive by hijacking the moment. Because what looks like confidence really isn't. The girl who makes everything about her, she's not bold, she's bleeding for attention and calling it power. The truth is, she can't stand being just a participant. She has to be the scene, the soundtrack, the storyline. She choreographs, she curates, she calculates. Also, no one notices how fragile her sense of self truly is. And it works until someone else shines. Then the energy shifts, you see the tight smile, you hear the snarky comment, the tension in the air that makes you wonder if you did something wrong just by existing. Because here's what they never tell you about people who need the spotlight. They don't just want to be seen, they need to be seen to feel safe. So when someone else is naturally magnetic, it doesn't just challenge them, it threatens them. That's why they don't celebrate with you, they compete with you, they don't connect, they perform, and it's not community, it's choreography. These aren't quirks, they're protective patterns. Performing isn't a personality trait, it's a defense mechanism. So if you've ever left an event feeling drained and unsure why, this might be it. You weren't crazy, you were just caught in someone else's performance. So she wasn't performing confidence, she was performing for approval. And the truth is, a lot of us do it too, just more quietly. We learn early being seen is safer than being forgotten, so we become performers, pleasers, chameleons. We figure out what version of us gets like the best reaction, and then we double down on that. But it all comes with a cost. When your identity is built from being the best at something, the hottest, the funniest, the most helpful, the most broken, it doesn't matter what it is as long as it keeps people looking at you. You don't feel valuable, you feel useful, and that becomes your currency. So when someone else steps in with their own light, it doesn't feel like connection. It actually feels like competition. And that's why Tessa couldn't just exist. She had to dominate. Because if she wasn't being seen, she didn't feel like she existed. That's not confidence, that's an identity built on reaction. And maybe yours isn't as loud, but are you sure it's not there too? Think about it. Do you ever over-explain to seem good? Do you feel anxious when you're not being acknowledged? Do you shrink when someone else is thriving, even if you love them? You might not perform like her, but you might still be addicted to the feeling of being perceived. Because deep down, you believe attention equals safety. And silence feels like being erased. If your value only exists in contrast to other people, you'll always need an audience. You'll keep choosing relationships where you feel like the star because you're terrified of being ordinary. You'll keep curating experiences that make you look good, even if they leave others feeling small. And the worst part, you won't even know you're doing it because when your identity is built around performance, reality starts to feel like rejection. You don't need to steal the spotlight to belong. You don't need to be the most anything to be enough. Here's a reframe no one gives you. You don't need attention to matter. You need alignment. Because there is a big difference between being seen and being received. People like Tessa, they chase visibility, but never really feel understood because they don't offer presence, they perform it. And when your presence is performative, well, people might admire you, but they'll never feel safe around you. You might get the praise, the reaction, the highlight reel, but you don't get real connection because people are always adjusting to your performance. They're not meeting you, they're reacting to you. And maybe you've done this too, not to steal the spotlight, but to prove you deserve to be in the room. Maybe you worked extra hard to make things perfect, not because you love control, but because you thought if things go well, no one can be mad at you. Maybe you cracked jokes so no one would notice you were uncomfortable, and maybe you volunteered for things hoping someone would finally say thank you and mean it. It's not evil, it's not selfish, it's survival. But to be honest, it's also exhausting, and it never gives you what you actually want. You don't want applause. You want to feel safe, connected, considered. So here's the shift. Stop chasing change as feeling, start living it as a decision. Start practicing quiet contribution. Start letting other people have the mic. Start anchoring in how it feels to be aligned, even when no one notices. Start trusting that the right people see you, even when you're not performing. That's not weakness, that's power, and it's the kind that lasts. Maybe you've done it too. Maybe not in bridal lingerie, not choreographing dances, but in your own way. Maybe your version of performance is always having the answer, always being the helpful one, the funny one, the one who's fine. Maybe you don't crave the spotlight, but you panic a little when it's not on you, even just for a moment. That's not because you're selfish. It's because somewhere along the way, being needed felt safer than just being. So you fill the silence with effort. You carry more than you share. You stay up late redoing what was already done, not because it needed to be better, but because you needed to feel valuable. If any of that landed, hear this. You're not broken. You're just still surviving in ways that once kept you safe, but now no longer serve you. You've been trying to earn your place in rooms that were never built to hold you. And when that happens, performance becomes armor. The more invisible you feel, the louder you try to exist. But here's the truth. The people who truly see you, they don't need you to earn it. Because here's the truth. People who truly see you, they don't love you because of your usefulness. They love you despite of the times you show up empty. They love the version of you that doesn't need to try so hard. And if no one has ever shown you that kind of love before, well, it starts with you. You are the first person who has to believe you are allowed to take up space, even when you're not impressive. Let that be your practice. Let stillness be your proof. Let softness be your power. Healing isn't about being unshakably confident. It's about being able to sit with yourself without flinching. It's about staying in the room when you're not being praised, and it's about letting the spotlight move and knowing your worth didn't leave with it. And maybe for the first time in your life, not needing to be chosen will feel like you're choosing yourself. You're not broken, you're at a decision point, and that's power. You can keep chasing that role that gets applause, or you can start becoming the version of you that doesn't need it. The truth is, attention fades. Performance wears thin, but clarity, that stays. Clarity is what lets you walk into a room and not shrink. It's what helps you recognize when someone else is hijacking the vibe and step back instead of spiraling. It's what helps you stop needing to be impressive and start being real. That kind of presence, it doesn't demand the spotlight. It becomes the anchor. You don't need to be louder. You don't need to be the most useful. You just need to come home to yourself, even when no one's watching. Because the people who are grounded in their worth, they change rooms without performing. They connect without competing. They exist without asking. If this hit something in you, please subscribe. Because you need more of this, more truth, more clarity, more reminders that you don't have to perform to be powerful. We are not here to be the main character. We're here to be awake and aligned.